in 2018. And I realized as soon as I got to the holiday, something had to change because I was burning the candle at both ends. I wasn't being present. The whole idea to do this was to be more available, to have the flexibility, to be able to do the school run, to be able to pick up the kids from school, to have more time to do our missionary work and so on. And I found I've been doing the complete opposite. So that's when we decided to change the business model and to come back and say, well, why did we do this? What are we really good at? And refining what our service offer actually is. And that made a big difference. And one of the questions you had before was around how did we move from, the Matt doing all the consulting to, having a Procure Spot offering, because it was a big challenge. That was one of the biggest challenges because my network wanted me.
Hi, and welcome to the Entrepreneur Organization Business Podcast. I'm your host, Lynn Peretti. My guest today is Matthew Armour from Procure Spot and Bidio, the two companies that specialize in procurement and supply chain management. He is here to share with us his experience in balancing business growth with a large family of 9 children, whilst also thriving in his role as a missionary. Join us as we uncover the challenges and triumphs Matthew has faced on his journey from a side hustle with his wife to a 7-figure business. Matthew is going to inspire us that we can indeed make it all work. Family, serving the community, and running multiple businesses. Well, please join me in welcoming Matthew. Hey, Matthew, so good to have you on today.
Thanks, Lynn. Thanks for inviting me.
Okay, well, I'm so excited to talk to you because we have a lot of things in common. I was from Melbourne, you're from Melbourne. I don't have as many kids as you, but I am also a Christian. So I'm so excited to talk to you today and kind of deep dive into how you scaled your business, went from a side hustle to, to an established business. And now you've joined EO. So I'm so excited to have you as a colleague at EO as well. So welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So let's, backtrack to your story. I know you live in Sydney now. You used to live in Melbourne. And tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah. Okay. So born and bred in Melbourne, grew up in a Christian Catholic family. So had all those values instilled into me. Didn't mean I wasn't a rebel. So did kind of rebel against a lot of my faith and so on. But grew up, I wouldn't say I was born into privilege by any chance, but I was, brought up in a very loving family, 3 brothers. I'm number 3. And so how did we come to be in Sydney and to be operating a business? So, well, in 2012, my wife and I offered ourselves to be missionary, to go anywhere in the world. And our ticket was pulled out for Western Sydney. So that's how we ended up in Mount Druitt. I was a public servant for 22 years. So I worked for federal public service for 10 years. Then I went to the public service in Victoria. Then when we got sent to Sydney, I worked in New South Wales government for a few years. And then in 2016, I just felt I was doing a massive commute every day from the West. And I thought of starting a side hustle. And over the many years in government, I picked up some skills, lo and behold. And so I decided to start a bid management company or to help small businesses get their systems in place to compete for those larger contracts with government. And so that side hustle turned into, a real thing within months. And so I turned 40, had 8 children at the time, and I decided to go all in with the business. So I took a massive risk. I must also say that the 50% shareholder of my business is my life partner and wife, Rebecca, and couldn't have done it without her. And so she'd been out of the workforce for some time, obviously, and we started this business called Procure Spot. And it just opened up a whole new world for us. Made so many mistakes, going into it. It was all about, creating that lifestyle and so on. And, but I just found myself in this on this mouse wheel, just running and, burning the candle at both ends. And, it was making okay money, but it was all me. The clients wanted me. And I really didn't have any real structure or vision to really help me get to where I was hoping to get to with the business. And so I started picking up some clients that were from EO Melbourne. And they were encouraging me to join Accelerator. which is Accelerator. And I was like, yeah, sounds great, but it took me 2 years to bite the bullet. So I joined Accelerator in October 2020. I'll never forget it. Walked into a strategy day just after the first lockdown. I was just like blown away. And I was just like, going through the Rockefeller habits. And I was like, I don't meet any of these, and I was like, well, this is the place for me. I just got a really great feeling. So that's how I came to be, part of the EO community, which I love. And also I've been able to scale and kind of get over many challenges that I've had in business, but not just business, but also in my personal life. And also, kind of closes the whole circle for me, business, community, and also, my personal goals and my faith.
Amazing. So Matthew, you really amaze me because you came from Christian faith, and you were doing ministry. I'm so surprised at how you got into the business mindset. And then also I want to start asking you about how you managed to do all that with 8 or 9 kids. Having faith is amazing. I became a Christian and it really gave me peace and all that. But at the same time, it also makes you a little bit confused about how you should run your business because, you kind of get caught up with the hustle of the world. And then you kind of need to remind yourself that, no, you've got God beside you and you should stay humble and calm. And so, yeah, any kind of feedback or insights into your own journey as a Christian and a business owner?
Yeah, I think actually EO really helped me with this because one of the things that I hadn't done before joining Accelerator was look at what are the core values of our business. And that really helped. So we had to, really deep dive into, how do we want our business to be perceived in the market? And our number one core value is human first, and really bringing in that spirit of service. Yeah. So, human first, everything we build is judged on how well it serves our customers. Yeah. Our end clients. And that really helps drive a lot of the, the values and the integrity that we want, and the culture within our business that, everyone that comes into our business, we have this spirit of service that we go that extra mile for our clients. And I believe we do that. I believe we, one of our core values is humility, yeah, but driven by ambition, but, really to keep that, that humble mindset as well. But so for me, you're right, it is a challenge because you can be perceived as, this kind of capitalist type, go-getter. But for me, it's been made a lot easier in the sense that I truly believe, I'm not sure if you had the same experience, but I truly believe that I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing. And, and it's not just about scaling a business and making, trying to build something that's sufficient and runs without me. And one of the things is having that kind of personal, big, hairy, audacious goal. And for me, it's to be a full-time self-funded missionary. So it's actually helps to drive that kind of goal,
Yeah.
That's where we're going. And in terms of, insights into, there've been many challenges in running a business, especially when you run the business with your wife, and making decisions and wanting to, we both are faith-based
entrepreneurs.
So it can be, there can be a dichotomy, like even to sit here and be interviewed by you, it's like not a natural thing for me to put myself out there because it's kind of, I haven't been brought up to kind of be, the center of attention, even though I quite like it. I used to be involved a lot in musicals and I used to be a really good singer and was in a band. And so I am used to putting myself out there, but it's not a natural thing. I have to put on that extrovert. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I really answered your question, but...
Yeah. I was just curious also then, are you still doing ministry work while you're running a business?
Yes. So our principal reason for being in Sydney is the missionary work that we do in Mount Druitt. And we live here. We've lived here for 10 years. And, yeah, so we have a very regimented week and our days are very full. Because all the missionary work is done outside of hours and on weekends and so on. So it's, so to a general day in the life, I wake up around 4:20 every day I'm in the gym by 4:45. You'll do a workout with a mate, and then come home, pray, and then we're in the day. So everything's done in units of time. So then it's getting ready for school time. So all the kids are getting up and, they're making their bed, they're getting dressed, they're coming down for breakfast, packing their lunch, and then, getting ready. You might be wondering how we transport 9 kids around. We have a big high-ass van with 12 seats. And so we pack them in, we do the school run, we come home and, I go to the office or I work from home, whatever it is, and we're in the working day.
Wow, amazing. So, I love that you've got your businesses, you're serving God, you're, serving the people, and then you've got 9 kids. So let's talk about the 9 kids. Did you always wanted a big family? How did it get to 9 kids? And what are some of the challenges in raising these kids, and how old are they?
All right. First of all, why? So my wife is one of 10 children. She's the second eldest of 10 kids. And so when I was going out with her, one of the things I noticed was I loved that they always ate together. So dinner time, everyone was around the table, and I was really attracted to that. And I always thought to myself that if I could do it, I'd love to have a big family as well. And also, we kind of had that mindset that leave this up to the will of God in terms of let him build our family. And, it was a bit scary and it wasn't easy. It's not easy because also people, look at you and sometimes, ask you, why don't you have a television? All that kind of stuff. We get all that. But the ages, so the eldest is 19. So we have 6 girls and 3 boys. So we have 2 girls first, 19 and nearly 18. And then we have 3 boys in a row. So 16, 14 turning 15 and 12 turning 13. And then we have 4 girls. So
none of them are twins. They're all
all single births.
Wow, that is amazing. Okay, so I guess me being a parent as well, having 3 kids, after I had the third, I was like, no more. How would you say it feels like after you've had the 3rd or 5th or 10th? Like, does it get better? Does it get easier? Is that why you...
Yeah, you don't really feel it after 3. You just go numb. Yeah.
Okay.
And, yeah. It is, like we felt the third one. We felt the third one because it was like, we could deal with 2 and, take one each and we're in public or whatever. And the third one's like, well, someone has to do a little bit extra, so there's a little bit of that. But then, look, if you're not routined, if you don't have things worked out, it can be quite overwhelming, I would say. But and sometimes it is overwhelming. Like we do have quite a regimented schedule. However, it doesn't always go to schedule and things come from left field and you need to, roll with the punches as well. So, yeah.
And what has it taught you having 9 kids?
It's taught me a lot because I grew up, there was only 4 of us, boys. Yeah, I never had girls in the house. I never grew up with girls. So I didn't even know, even when I got married, I didn't even know what it was like to live with someone, a female. So, having girls, first of all, that it's taught me, it's taught me how to be a father and a husband, first of all, but also to serve. That's not all about me, because I had everything done for me growing up. Really taught me that I had to, serve the family, not just with, my wife always tells me, don't buy me flowers because my love language is actions. Isn't it? There was this really good, TikTok. There was a guy saying, this is how I flirt with my wife. And there he is cleaning the toilet bowl.
That's right. The love language. Yeah.
So, it's important for me to serve.
Yeah. So if you sum it all up in terms of like, how did you manage, work-life balance with the 9 kids and then now scaling your business? And is it helpful now so when you started your business, were the kids a bit older then?
Well, 2016 we started the business. So we had, we still had kids in nappies at that stage. So it wasn't like, it was crazy what we did. Starting the business. Like it was nuts. I had a really cushy job, good money in the public service. And it's like, well, what are you doing? Like it was really risky. But for me, I just felt like I was unfulfilled. I was unfulfilled in my work life. And I always had good ideas and was always working in high-performing teams in government, right? And I thought, well, maybe I could build my own high performing team, and maybe we could do something impactful that, can do well. And so I've never looked back. But what was really important for me, having, all the kids, having a big family, having a very, very busy life with no work involved, then running a business, one of the things that was important was to find a structured approach to scale. Yeah. And that's what EO gave me. Yeah. And Accelerator gave me that structured approach to scaling a business. And it also gave me that community as well. The community was really important for me because I have a really good community in my kind of church life and all that kind of thing. But in my work life, I found my tribe, and that's been very important. Like the accountability group that I was in Accelerator was fantastic. That was able to share and go deep with things, and that was really important. But that structured approach to scaling the business was really vital. And that when I joined Accelerator, I was under 300K. I was turning over less than 300K Aussie, and that's gone 5 times. And since graduating from the program.
Yeah, that is such an amazing result. So what did you do to take yourself from being that consultant that people needed you to turning the business to scale without you? Because you obviously needed, because you are, running a big family and also doing your missionary work. So it's so important that you remove yourself from being dependent in the business.
One of the really critical things I had to do was develop our processes. So they'll end-to-end processes and really have them mapped out, and so that anyone could jump in and do a particular, like if it's building a quality management system or if it's, running a tender, to have those processes really ironclad. That was really, really important because I was able to build a business on me, on the services that I provided to our clients. And if I'm growing, we need to maintain that same quality. And so that was really important. Also, the other thing that was really important was people. So one of the things that was kind of critical for us was to attract and retain really good people, but also that could live our core values. So I think, I know I've just watched this morning the 3 C's, Lynn, that we were in the other day, and I agree. But culture for me is the number one. Culture is really important in the business. So, and that's what we want to, show to the world, that this, the culture that, working with Procure Spot, it's a really positive place to work and really rewarding work that we do.
Yeah. You know what? When I hear your story, you just make everything seem so easy, but the things you do is so big, meaning, having 9 kids or, taking a leap from a comfortable job to starting a business, and yet you made it successful. Is this your first business as well?
Yeah, it's our first business. Okay. We have 2 businesses now. So Procure Spot is the main consulting business. And in 2018, we reinvested proceeds to build an online tendering platform called Bidio. And so that was, a bit of a work dream of ours to have an offering to the market that could, give insights, and where you don't have to dig for your value, that it's presented to you. So that's been, so we have two.
Yeah. So you got 2 businesses, and then you've also got your faith work that you do. And so what is it that you tell yourself that makes you, you believe in yourself to take that leap, to do things that's so scary? I mean, if I was to ever imagine having 9 kids, I don't know, I would, like, straight away, even at the 4th kid, I'm like, oh my God, like I have all these negative beliefs. But I would just love to kind of understand your mindset and how you deal with things, because the things that you're going for is quite huge and uncomfortable.
Yes, that's a really good question, because for the first 3 years of running the business, I was just following the rolling ball. Like I was literally just following the rolling ball. So, we started off as bid management consultants, and then we moved into ISO consulting, and that was going well. But I was just kind of following this rolling ball, and at the same time as having this really big life outside of that kind of work environment. And it wasn't until we went overseas, not with all the kids, we took the 4 older kids on a pilgrimage through Italy in 2018. And I realized as soon as I got to the holiday, something had to change, because I was burning the candle at both ends. I wasn't being present. The whole idea to do this was to be more available, to have the flexibility, to be able to do the school run, to be able to pick up the kids from school, to have more time to do our missionary work and so on. And I found I've been doing the complete opposite. So that's when we decided to change the business model and to come back and say, well, why did we do this? What are we really good at? And refining what our service offer actually is. And that made a big difference. And one of the questions you had before was around how did we move from, the Matt doing all the consulting to, having a Procure Spot offering, because it was a big challenge. That was one of the biggest challenges because my network wanted me. That was a government client or a small business client. They wanted me. And it was very challenging. And one of the things we had to do was, well, maybe we needed to let some of those go in order to, business we're meant to be. And we did. We left quite a bit of money on the table in doing so, but it's enabled us now to scale and have a really ironclad service offering and build a really robust and high-performing team around our services.
Okay, that's amazing. So I guess what tip would you give to people who, because the way you've managed your life in such a way, I'm so amazed that I think there's people out there that are like, look, I don't want to have kids yet because it's going to affect my business goals and vision, or, I can't get married yet because of this, or I can't because of this. Now, what tips would you be able to give to them to make them realize that you can have it all if you do what?
You need to jump. And I only saw the positive in it, so we were actually, so there was a senior public servant. I can't even remember the gentleman's name, but he was probably like a deputy secretary in the federal government. But I was a young guy and I was full of ambition to extend my career in the public service. And he says, building a career in the public service and putting yourself out there is a bit like jumping out of a plane. Yeah. In that you don't really know whether your parachute will work or not. There is always that kind of thought at the back of your mind. And if it works, great. If it doesn't work, it doesn't hurt for too long. So my advice would be take the leap of faith and back yourself, because there will be setbacks, and we've had major setbacks. One recently, quite a major setback, and, really was able to see a lot of the positives in it, and it wasn't meant to be. We weren't meant to, there was a bit of betrayal there and so on, but, I was like, that's okay. Yeah, we've got the recipe for scaling and for being the business that we need to be for the services that we provide. So jump and back.
Yeah. And I love that. The more I know about God and the Bible, the more I can kind of relate to those verses where, God has better plans for you, or, it's just there's a lot of things that I need to kind of rely on faith to actually get through a lot of the setback in business. So yeah, amazing advice. Now, I would love to ask the last question, which I always love to ask the audience, is what do you want the world to remember Matthew for?
Oh, my goodness. I would like the world to remember me as someone who led a team that made a difference. So, for example, the two businesses that we run right now is a means to something else. And I've always had a passion and a dream to work with young people, disadvantaged young people. So I would want to be remembered for someone who founded a not-for-profit that made a real difference for the young people, not just in Western Sydney, but who knows, yeah? So I don't know when that's going to be, and I don't really know exactly what that looks like right now, but I want to be remembered as the person, or as someone who influenced some really great outcomes for the young people of our next generations.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much, Matthew, for spending time with me today. I'll make sure to put all your details in the description of our YouTube video. So yeah, once again, thank you. And I look forward to seeing you in person soon.
Thanks, Lynn. Been great to be here.